Is luck a factor in determining who becomes wealthy? Is money the sole guarantee of happiness? That's what I used to think, and we all might have thought that once in our lives. However, there are bitter truths to being rich than we know. What if I told you that being rich isn't enough for mental peace and prosperity? In this video, we'll look at the outside of being rich and wealthy. We'll discover the secrets behind these affluent people's success. Stay tuned to this video till the end to discover the other truth that remains hidden from our side. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for almost daily amazing videos that increase the pace of your wealth and success. My aim is to help as much of my viewers as possible, and I would love it if some of my viewers also became my subscribers. Thanks in advance, and let's dive into today's video. The affluent seem to feel that all this hard work, ability, and intellect contribute considerably more to economic success than sheer accident or undesirable character attributes. Many people have been wondering if the divide between the rich and poor has become too wide, since some have more money than others and others have less. A portion of this discussion highlights how the system is rigged. Certain individuals don't just possess more than others, but the wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots has been widening as a result of unethical practices. For instance, having a family member who's successful in business might provide a person an advantage when applying to prestigious universities or searching for work. Similarly, those who have inherited riches are accorded privileges or given preferential treatment in a variety of settings. The fact of the matter is that different sets of guidelines are appropriate for various circumstances throughout life. There is some level of comprehension that can be achieved with them. The truth that they're substantially less convenient and involve a large increase in complexity is the principal factor that contributes to the likelihood that the great majority of people are unable to grasp them. What if I ask you about the company you work for? Many would be competing for the job you like. Someone would give anything to be able to do your job better with a piece of software. That girlfriend or boyfriend you desire, that high-paying career you want, or the Nobel Prize you want. As we desire for these things, many others might also do so. While we try not to acknowledge it, we're all engaged in a competitive environment. The majority of accomplishments are only noteworthy in comparison to other people's successes. You might be able to dance better than most people, swim faster than most people, or have more Facebook likes than most people. That's great. Keep going. This is one point where I realize that rich people are not affluent in all aspects of life as we look upon the metrics of success as we measure wealth in different categories. I bet this is something that's difficult to accept, which is why we're always trying to reassure one another that the reverse is true. Just try your best, others tell us. The only person you need to worry about beating is yourself. The irony of statements like that is that they're intended to spur you on to greater exertion regardless of what they say. We're fortunate to not live in a society where the only way to achieve success is for everyone to kill one another. The advent of contemporary civilization has bestowed upon us an abundance of options, and there is sufficient for all of us to thrive, even if we choose not to engage in direct competition. However, you should never buy into the widespread illusion that there isn't any competition taking place. People go to great lengths to impress potential spouses. They attempt to land employment through interviews. If you refuse to acknowledge the existence of other competitors, you're doomed to fail. Everything that's in demand is subject to a degree of competition. Moreover, the finest is only accessible to those that are prepared to engage in an honest struggle for it. What will happen when we begin to disclose how the system has been rigged? It seems that those with more resources are highly sensitive to evidence of this nature, and they make a concerted effort to hide it up. For example, in a series of tests, we've invited people who benefited from class privilege, for instance, those who came from homes in the top 10% of incomes, to read press articles or other data related to the special benefits that their money provides them. Things include preferential treatment for medical professionals and hospitals, as well as easier access to employment opportunities solely on the basis of their rich or privileged position. In a different experiment, we discovered that affluent persons, when informed of their advantages, also inflated the number of hours they put in at their employment. But what motivates rich people to behave in this manner? According to my research, this protective reaction is driven by people's need to believe that they're a decent person, more precisely, a person with a high level of worth. Being a good person may easily become identical with being a meritorious person, which refers to an individual who's earned what they currently possess through hard effort. This is especially true in a society that places a high value on the concept of egalitarianism. Therefore, when those who profit from class prerogatives are forced to confront that privilege immediately, they enjoy an incongruence between their notion of being a good and deserved person and substantiation that they've received unfair class benefits. Wealthy people diffuse this conflict by publicly addressing the logic of meritocracy through symbols like long hours at work or an earnest effort to improve themselves. They continue to make these assertions despite the fact that they don't compensate for the unfair gains that they're further obtaining. In the end, these myths about meritocracy can be helpful in covering up the portions of the system that are rigged. This brings up an important concept that's frequently discussed in conjunction with privilege, namely the concept that luxury is hidden. But how is it that privilege may be so easily overlooked? This is neither a characteristic of privilege in and of itself, nor is it a coincidence. One study reveals that people strive to cover up their privilege by utilizing the symbols of meritocracy as a shield. This is one of the reasons why privilege may become undetectable. The majority of people are concerned with safeguarding and stockpiling their wealth. The rich are also aware of the significance of saving money, but they're aware that making money is an even higher priority. The majority of individuals are less interested using their million-dollar brains to build a fortune and more focused with the small returns they acquire through their investments and savings accounts. The affluent don't waste their mental energy worrying about saving pennies and living a frugal lifestyle. Rather, they reject the penny-pinching mentality of the general population and direct their attention to where it should be, on the large sums of money, obviously. Leverage is considered to be of the utmost importance by millionaires. The affluent concentrate their efforts in a strategic manner on the most lucrative aspects of their enterprises and make use of their relationships, credibility, and financial resources to get the most out of every move they do in order to increase their fortune. The working class places a high value on toiling away at one's job. Those who are fortunate tend to view accomplishment as a more significant symbol of honor. I urge you to look back at the lessons you learned about the value of hard effort when you were younger. If you aren't precisely raking in the dough, you need to make a conscious decision to let go of whatever limiting views you have about working hard, and you need to begin thinking of how you can utilize pressure to become even more successful. The majority of people sell their time for money. This gives rise to the misconception that earning money is a step-by-step procedure that's closely related to the passage of time. The common perception is that putting in more hours at work is the only method to increase one's income, in addition to pay increases and additional bonuses. Millionaires are aware that making huge money needs a non-linear approach to problem solving. They're experts in making money through the development of concepts that address existing issues. They're aware that there's no end to the number of ideas, hence, there's no limit to the amount of money that they may earn. Those who are affluent view money through the lens of logic, which allows them to perceive both what it represents and what it doesn't. Unfortuitously, very few individuals are able to think about money without allowing unpleasant feelings to obscure the issue. These feelings are the result of hundreds of middle-class ideals that are instilled in our thoughts as we were young and remain with us throughout our lives. If you want to make sound financial decisions, though, you need to set your feelings aside and rely on logic. When you remove the emotional attachment you've built up to your financial situation, you'll be able to break free and make as much money as possible. Make a decision right now to let reason guide your financial decisions and passion keep you on track. You'll have all you need to become a billionaire and earn whatever you desire, regardless of your educational background, intelligence level, or academic success. Instead of viewing financial stability through the lens of constraint and scarcity, try viewing it from the lens of liberation, chance, and surplus. Maintain your current line of thought if wealth is your goal. If not, perhaps you need to alter your perspective on wealth. That's all for today in this video. Don't forget to hit that like button for today's video and subscribe to our channel for more wealthy and rich making videos. See you again soon.